essentially had to move to my phone because my GoPro thinks it's like, midnight for some reason. And it's like, just because it's the UK doesn't mean it has to be dark, but yeah. And then if I turn on any lights, it has a seizure. But anyway, on to the main topic of today's video, really. I won't really go to talk about it because, for one, do I really care? Not really, but I did touch on like self-improvement. I have touched on self-improvement for quite a while, and I'd like to believe, my channel is for like self-improvement, but also having a laugh. Mainly my shorts, they're meant to be more funny than educational, and less self-improvement worthy kind of thing. But when it comes to my videos, I like to think I inspire people to improve themselves and do what they like in the gym. But what's come up on my radar recently is a guy called Clavicle thing, or whatever the hell his name is. Essentially, he's this looksmaxer black pill geezer that has altered his body by using drugs and surgery and, what's extremely funny to me, makeup. Now, I'm not judging anyone who does makeup and is a man. Like, you do you, boo. Whatever the hell. You slay queen. But, yeah, this guy likes to go on about how attractive he is. And, he wants to be the most attractive man alive, which, I'll be honest, is a losing battle. Because to be the most attractive man alive, for one thing, you need women to, like, from all regions around the world to actually, like your personality and, stuff like that. But this guy just seems very plastic to me. But also, in the general sense, it's an opinion. Like, people may think I am ugly. That is an opinion that they have. And they're more than right to have their opinion. Some people may find me more attractive. That's their opinion too. But also, what an opinion really is that you shouldn't really care about what these things are. Like, I believe as a fundamental man value is to not really, or woman value, to be honest, I think most people should agree on this, that you shouldn't really care what other people that you do not give a shit about believe about you. Like, I've had many people call me ugly in the past, like, at school, in real life, online kind of thing. And it is what it is. That's their opinion. That's how I see it, Oh, cool, move on. But I genuinely think this clavicle guy has a mental issue because he seems very insecure. This is what, I think black pill, essentially a bunch of guys who have severe depressive tendencies that think, oh, I'm ugly, I need to improve my looks and all this kind of stuff. So they bone mash or whatever the hell, and they do makeup or whatever. They try and appeal to women. It's essentially like sucking up to women. So, like, a lot of women kind of suck up to men. They try and get as much men as possible. Same with these guys. Like, they're just trying to be this thing that they're not. This is why I go on about my channel saying you need to be yourself. Like, I am myself on here. I am not faking anything. I am just a guy who lifts, and that's all you really know. More about me is that I'm a petrol head. I really like, V8 engines. I like V10s, V12s, because they sound soothing to me, and, hopefully I get a Dodge Demon, Hellcat, Mustang, stuff like that. I'm a real muscle car, but also a European supercar enthusiast. I like those cars. I'm also a bit of a nerd. I know a lot about, certain backgrounds like, Invincible, Marvel, DC. I've always been into that shit. I mean, if you've ever seen some of my shorts, you may have seen a Pulp Fiction poster which is a Tarantino film that I quite enjoy. You know, it's fair. It's a film not many people like, but you know, I like it purely because of how it's made. But when it comes to being yourself, just don't suck up to people because it's not even worth it. From my perspective, it isn't worth the hassle. Like, be yourself. That's all you need to be. These looks maxers concern themselves with too many opinions. Like, people may think my physique sucks, and they do not want a person with that physique. They want a person with a slimmer physique. That's fine. That's their own opinion. And that's what I'm just trying to get across in this video, is that I'm not shaming these guys. Yeah, go ahead, you know, try and be more attractive. Just try do it naturally. You know, a lot of people I've heard say hair is a defining factor on men's attractiveness, and you know, if they have a beard or not, kind of thing. Everyone has their, you know, thing, right? And you just play to your strengths. That's how technically I've done it, but you know, I've got a bit of a dead trim anyway. I keep my beard on because I genuinely like my beard, and you know, I shave it every 2 weeks. So genuinely just cut it to the point of a stubble, and I keep growing it out like that because, you know, I like both looks, and that's genuinely why I do it. You know, I do it for mainly me, because as well as with this cut, so this winter cut, which is essentially just a mini cut, and the reason why I'm doing it is just for me. So I'm mainly tracking my progress. So hopefully by the end of it, I will be, you know, leaner and stuff, and you know, try and see what my potential is. It's not for any validation, because I'll be honest, I barely get any validation as it is. And, you know, I do it for me, which is what I encourage a lot of people to do. You know, you just need to do it for you. And these looks maxers that say, oh, your eyes are an awkward tilt. You got a too big of a nose. You need a nose job. You need a mouth job. All this rubbish. You don't need to be perfect. Being perfect is so unobtainable, it's stupid. That these looks maxers like to literally grab at you. They're grabbing at your insecurities, and that's all they're doing. Just do it for you. If you want to have a better face, try things out. Try a different hairstyle. Try a different facial, you know, hair thing. Or, you know, if you got acne, do something about it. You know, those kinds of stuff is natural progression. That's self-improvement instead of looks maxing, because yeah, it's not healthy. And I definitely recommend not following in Clavicle, or whatever the fuck his name is, footsteps, because he's extremely unhealthy. He did drugs at the age of 14, so muscle building drugs, as well as he literally preaches by the Walter White, you know, substances and alcohol to suppress appetite, which is a bunch of rubbish. I'll say that. You don't need drugs to suppress your appetite. Yes, you will feel hungry in the beginning, but when you go on a diet, you slowly progress into it. You slowly go into it, and then it will feel like pretty much a normal day. And if you fill yourself up with enough, you know, it's what's called empty calories, so fiber. Essentially, fiber fills you up because it just generally doesn't have any calories in it. If you fill yourself up with fiber, you'll feel fine, but also have more nutrients as well. You know, like your broccoli, your chicken, get all your proteins, carbohydrates and everything in, and be healthy. That's all I preach on this channel. And besides that, very off the topic rant, because I believe I just saw a bunch of shite about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my own take on this, because yes, it's getting out of control. Social media, everyone's so insecure. It's like, fucking hell, just get a life. But anyway, we'll be going on to the second half of my new program. So we have push day 2, pull day 2, and leg day. So essentially I'll call this upper lower because it's technically the same. But this is kind of like a test run. I'm on a deload week and I'm trying to get leaner, bigger and stronger. So stay tuned. So I will be going over what I'm doing and going to how it feels. So anyway, we'll get straight into the gym session. I'll see you in the gym. So essentially this is just the deload period, so not going too heavy, so I'll have 100 and so here's 100 kilos and then I'll be going to 90 kilos. So essentially what I'm allowing myself to do is to just recover from doing a max out, which was just last week, and essentially just trying to repair and regenerate all my strength back. So this deload week is just to get into the rhythm and also help me recover from doing so much on 1 week. So that's just how I like to structure it, and it's gone okay so far. So essentially this is just the second half of the new program. I'll just have to see how the weeks commence. If it fails to do something, let's say because leg day is fairly close to push day, which I also squat on push day, I might have to switch it around, might have to do something else. Those kinds of things is what helps me form my program, because I could not be able to squat, which is the unfortunate bit, and I might have to switch it up a bit. But essentially all I'm doing is going through the motions now and then seeing where I stand. So but anyway, incline press on a push day, and I mean this push day was quite disturbed, I'll say, because essentially in the morning people are not as nice, like I mentioned, and when you ask to work in with people, they blatantly say no, even though they're doing the exact same thing. And I'd get it if they said anything about the camera. Like I'd blatantly say, if you don't want the camera in your face, I'm not going to put the camera in your face, because I'm more respectful than that. But if it's just like a case of them just being a dick, which I think most of the time it is, it's just unnecessary. But anyway, this is essentially all my tricep work here, because I don't know, my triceps were a bit more fatigued than I would have thought. But in the next week, which it will be week 1 of the new Winter Cup series, I'll see how I am. If I'm still feeling the same, I'll just have to switch it up, and because it's all about trying these things. Like I've said in many videos, you need to try certain things in order for them to work, and essentially I'm just trying out this new program, seeing where I get and going from there, because you never know. Doing triceps basically within 48 hours might not be for me, because I go very, very intensely on push day 1, and this is push day 2, which is only 48 hours away. So it's kind of like balancing it out. It's like a equilibrium, whatever the hell you want to call it. But moving on to shoulders, using a single arm one, which I'm not very used to, because I'm more used to a double cable. But yet again, beggars can't be choosers, because certain people hog machines, and I won't name any names. It wasn't this guy beside me, of course. It was the person on the other cable, which I don't like him very much, because he's a massive dick, regardless of if he's not packing any much, if you get what I mean. But essentially, he was just being a prick and saying that I mess about and stuff, which I don't. I genuinely get things done fairly fast. And he was in the same thing that I wanted, which was a fly. But yeah, he just proceeded to waste away like half an hour to 45 minutes on his phone. So yeah, I love my gym, of course. But yeah, when it comes to shoulders, I usually do a Y raise, which kind of like does what those side lateral raise machines do. It's just because in this gym it's not really a bodybuilding gym, it's more of a starter gym, which hopefully soon I'll be able to move out of, but you know, it'll all depend on certain things. But yet again, beggars can't be choosers, so I just do that in replacement of a lateral raise machine. But anyway, as I was saying, on to flies, and yeah, that's practically the workout there, because usually I'd be doing way more for triceps, but my triceps weren't feeling it that day. They were feeling very fatigued, which I'll just keep an eye on. But also because of time constraints, because I do work, unlike the person that was unfortunately on the other cable. Yeah, essentially I had to go early because I had to rush. But that's neither by the by. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, because it was just very rude how he conducted himself. But some people are rude, some people are okay. But yeah, that kind of put me off a bit on training in the morning if he's going to be a right prick about it. But you know, it is what it is. I'll do what I can do. And yeah, I at least got chest flies done. And yeah, that's practically the entirety of the push day. Still thinking about things to do, you know, on the push day, but there's not really much in terms of volume. But anyway, on to pull day. Yeah, pull day. So on pull day, I do my tempo bench as usual. So you're probably thinking, why are you benching on a pull day? It's because in order to get my bench volume, I need to, you know, bench at least 3 times a week. So just blowing my nose because I'm a bit of a flu, but you know. But anyway, essentially, you know, doing tempos, it enables me to, you know, focus on form and stuff like that, as well as getting stronger. But on this occasion, it's mainly form, because, you know, I'm not going heavy. I'm just sticking to, you know, the movement itself. But then once I've finished bench, I'll be moving on to more back and bicep exercises. So essentially, it's kind of like a more hypertrophy day this day, instead of like, you know, other things. But yeah, it's slightly longer because I have back, biceps and forearms to do. Meanwhile, with, you know, more push movements, I tend to find they're a lot quicker to, you know, complete. But anyway, it's got your cable rows, pulling in with my shoulder blades to get that contraction of the trapezium muscle. And yeah, essentially, you know, doing what I usually do, but more split up, if you get my drift. Because in previous ones, I had like a whole upper body day, which of course this week would have felt a lot weird, because, you know, I'm not as used to it. But at least I'm not like rushing, because if I were to do like a full day on the push day that I just did, I think I'd be rushing. You know, if I did an entire upper body day on that day, I'd be like fucked, because, you know, people just take forever on machines. But on certain days, they're a lot better and a lot more friendly. So might have been a one-off, but considering the guy is fairly notorious. Well, from my own experiences, he's always been that way towards me, because he's an old man. Well, in his 50s, acts like a child, but it is what it is. But yeah, did a drop set and then moved to lat pull downs. So essentially, to finish off the like exercise I'm doing, I've decided to put more drop sets in, so into stuff like back and chest and biceps and stuff like that. I just want to add a bit more intensity, because it might be able to work, adding a bit more load onto the lats and biceps might be able to conduct more muscle and stuff like that. But essentially, doing lat pull downs, doing a bit of a like mini drop set at the end, and then moving over to lat pullovers, which thank God I was able to get a cable, because you'll see in like a second that a lot of the techno gym equipment breaks very easily, meaning there's a lot more demand for certain stuff, and it's like, come on, just get better equipment. But instead of that, they just kind of let it go and whatever. But lat pullovers to just finish off lats, and not my favorite cable to do it on, because it's like fairly easy, because it's not that high of a cable, but it is what it is. But yeah, then afterwards moved on to shoulders. So essentially, I want to train shoulders twice a week, and by doing it on a cable, I find more contraction with it, as well as I'm able to fit this in, unlike with a push day where it takes me way longer because of a lot of my strength movements. So yeah, I just decided to squeeze it in there, and yeah, I think it worked, because this day was actually quite good in comparison to the push day, because push day I just felt like I didn't do shit. But sometimes it's just like that, where you have to do less on a certain day and recover more, because recovery is king. I'm sorry, I'm a bit ill because of I honestly don't know, but hopefully I spread it to Mr. Hogger. But anyway, yeah, doing a drop set as well on this, and yeah, it's kind of like my thing to do a drop set, because I find once you get to that third and essentially any final movement, so like if I'm doing shoulders like I'm doing here, I always find it way better if I do like a drop set, like just continuous drop set with shoulders. Meanwhile in like lats, it's kind of like whatever in a way. So like with lats, it's like just do a couple drops, but with like shoulders I just do just a few. But essentially we're going into biceps, so just like the last bit, so doing some behind the back cable curls, so just getting that stretch and contraction in the biceps and stuff like that, and then moving on to forearms straight afterwards, which I do a reverse curl and a wrist curl, which is just curling your forearm in, trying to build that big meaty bit. But when it comes to my arms, it's mainly my forearms that are holding me back, because they do look a bit like them Lego arms. But hopefully through doing a bit more forearms, I'm able to thicken up my forearms and they don't look as shit. So yeah, I mean I do have very long forearms, and that's probably a factor, but I'm not going to give any excuses because I can always thicken up my forearms. You know, it doesn't. I don't think it really takes much of effort, but you know, it'll all depend on you know, how it really goes. So sorry about the mumbling. It's just like, you know, I'm a bit ill, and yeah. Essentially, this is probably where I'll cut off and then go on to leg day. So I'll probably cut out the audio around now and then go on to leg day, which just saves me rambling on for a lot longer than I need to. So after literally sounding like I'm on death's door, we're on leg day, which is death's door. So got essentially pause squats, then RDLs, split squats, which I'll go with you for a minute. So essentially pause squats are to help with the bottom position. The reason I kept them in, because, you know, genuinely I find them to help so much. Not only with like flexibility, which you'll be able to see that I go insanely deep on all squats, which is why I like them so much. It's like a nice stretch as well, you know, because in the past I've not been able to, you know, get too deep, and by doing pause squats and sitting in that position for such a long time, I'm able to get used to it, and I'm able to, you know, not only go deeper in my regular squat but also feel more comfortable, which was a problem in the past because my hip flexors were very stiff and I couldn't go down as far. So, you know, it's all improvements from here. And now on to RDLs. RDLs are to strengthen the hamstrings and the glutes, essentially, you know, for deadlifts, and also, you know, all the back muscles and shit. But yeah, with RDLs, I didn't feel. Honestly, my body felt like doo-doo, so I didn't really do much. So yeah, I only went with 160. But it's neither there or by the by, you know. But went on to split squats straight after that. So here you are. I do them on Smith machine now because it's like I do want more strength as well. But in the general sense, I do still open up my hips. I still, you know, I'm able to recruit my hip flexor, all the little stabilizer muscles and stuff like that while doing this anyway. So I'm essentially hitting two birds with one stone. I'm able to get stronger, but also, you know, stretch my body out and get full range of motion, which is the hope that I have in this, you know, movement here. You know, just to stretch out and also, you know, get stronger by applying more pressure onto one leg than the other, you know, just trying to get them equal to each other as well. But yeah, I essentially do the same thing with leg press, which is next. So my whole thing with leg press is you can do it however you want, but I do like single leg, double leg. So essentially it's kind of like a drop set, but I don't have to do shit. So by doing one leg, it's more pressure on that one leg. So on leg press, I usually have 100 in like plates. So as you can see here, I have 100 on 50 on one side and then 50 on the other side. And essentially, I'm pushing. If I were to push with two legs, it'd be like 200, and then once I get down to, you know, my double leg, it's just 100. So it's just like splitting that out, and you know, it just, I don't have to take the weights off, and it saves me a fucking job, because I'll be honest, when you're in leg day and you just can't be arsed, it's essentially a death sentence if you know, want to do a drop set or anything. And I find it, you know, way better in terms of, you know, quality as well. Like, I'm able to hit my muscle at different points. So when I'm doing my double leg, I do like a V stance, which I've mentioned multiple times. And when I'm doing my single leg, I'm more upwards, so like my toes are pointed upwards. And that gives me a different, you know, range of motion, but also, you know, different, which muscle is in more, you know, is recruiting more motor units in order to, you know, push the weight. And I do genuinely believe in it, you know, because I feel like my like teardrop muscle, which I don't know the name of, but that's kind of grown from doing this. Oh my god, I am so ill, like to the point where I'm genuinely sniffling through this fucking commentary, but you know, it is what it is, and you get sick some days and it's just dog shit, but at least I'm still eating and, you know, not throwing up everywhere, which is always a plus. But yeah, that's just my like way of doing leg press. If you have a different way, you have a different way. If you genuinely like drop sets, that's your, you know, opinion. But I would prefer a hack squat because I love hack squats, just the good ones. But unfortunately, we don't have a hack squat. We have just a leg press, which is amazing. But I don't really complain about it. You know, there's not much to complain about. I still have a gym I can go to, so you know. But anyway, hamstring curl. So doing 2 sets and then a drop set. So very similar to you know, my back and bicep workout, and you know, my tricep and all the other muscles. I do a drop set at the end because I find that way more stimulating than you know, just keeping it the same weight all the time. I want to make sure my muscle is absolutely, you know, got the most out of it in the 3 sets that I have, because I think 3 sets is just enough. You know, I don't think really you should go more than that, but you know, everyone has their own way. I'm really struggling to get through this fucking shit, but you know, it's part of it. It won't get many views, I know that, but you know, I mean, one of my videos got 170 views out of nowhere, and I didn't really intend for it to get that many views. But yeah, you just get to listen to my sniffly ass for like a bit longer now. And yeah, essentially abductors, like I've said in the past, a stabilizer muscle, but also helps with, you know, aesthetics. So like looking, your legs looking thicker from the front and the back, not so much from the side because it's in your inner thigh, and you know, you don't really see your inner thigh from the side. But yeah, oh fucking hell, I am struggling. But please put in the comments to pray for me. But you know, it is what it is. And then quad extensions, single leg, like how I do them usually. But anyway, I need to get off because I am so fucked, because yeah, this is draining me. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Pray for me for recovery from this fucking illness that someone's given me. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.